The epicness continues this chapter that features Rox, Roger, Blackbeard, and even Harald turning on Zebek, Shanks' mom, and Shanks and Shamrock make an appearance, and more happens in this insane chapter of Legends, so make sure to stay tuned for that. Now chill the parking within and smash that like button if you enjoy seeing One Piece videos like this one on the channel and want to keep them coming. Make this the video you join the Nakama by subscribing if you haven't and hitting that notification bell so you don't miss future One Piece reviews and updates. And now without further ado, let's jump into it, spoilers and all. This chapter has the very hype title of Rox versus Harald, which was the potential fight set up last chapter, as Harald was told by the world government that he and Elbaf would be allowed to join them only if they killed Rox. This kind of thing was what I speculated could have been the cause of the dead look in his eyes from his older portrait compared to the hopeful and determined look he's had throughout the flashback. Having to betray your friend and principles, even if you tell yourself it's for the greater good, has to have an effect on the ruler in question, who you could say sold his soul for the gold. We start off with a bang, with even the cover story dropping a huge bomb. The narrator writes Ogre Child Yamato's Golden Harvest Surrogate Pilgrimage, Volume 40. The Pirate of Justice lies here. Yamato, Ocho, and Kikunojo are leaving the grave of the hero who fought Kaido from last chapter, where they have placed flowers, and the name on the grave is Kozuki Moria, if you can believe it. Last chapter, we were told this hero fought against Kaido to protect his village, but perished without leaving a body behind. So many things here obviously point to Gecko Moria, who we know fought Kaido in the past and wanted revenge, being Kozuki Moria himself, and thus a member of the Odin and Mononosuke clan. His body wasn't found because he survived, and it also makes more sense why Ryuma's corpse was with him at Thriller Bark, along with his blade Shisui. Crazy to think of him as a hero after what we know about him. Crazy to think of him as a hero, but not shocking for One Piece, which continuously shows us characters that have lost their way at some point, and this chapter, from the looks of it, will be about how Harald did, just the same. So the chapter itself starts in the Oro Jackson, pretty hype, where Roger is unhappy about Shocky quitting the Kuja Pirates. The last time they fought, Roger noticed that Shocky seemed sick, so he was worried about her. Of course, this is probably the love sickness for Rayleigh that caused her to leave. We get more information about this. When Shocky quit the Kuja Pirates, she left a letter for Rayleigh to go meet her. But Rayleigh didn't want to bind himself to anyone. Bro, so crazy how cool he played it when every other guy was practically drooling all over her, chasing her, and of course this probably just made her even crazier about him. Then Roger decided to go visit Shocky's bar. A while after that, 40 years ago, we see Holy Knight Garling talking with the 5 elders at Marijoa. Garling informed them about God Valley, an island where he stayed for a short while during a mission. Fun to see this, knowing he'll become an elder himself 40 years later. Garling goes on to explain that he tried to convince the God Valley people to join the world government, but it was impossible. God Valley possessed a lot of resources that were extremely valuable to them. Oda really makes his politics in One Piece realistic. Resources are in fact what a lot of intervention is about in the real world as well. But Garling also made an unbelievable discovery. He says, "It was something I didn't expect at all. I'm certain the Great One will be pleased, probably Emu. Henceforth, I strongly recommend the tournament in 2 years to be hosted in God Valley." So in addition to him being a Holy Knight star there, he also chose the place and is the reason it was there. We then cut to Hachinosu, aka Pirate Island. According to Shocky's rules, pirates who come to her bar are not allowed to fight in the bar, and thus we get very legendary figures who'd otherwise be fighting on site, able to run into each other and talk to each other in a way that would otherwise never happen. Perhaps no better example of this happens between Rox and Roger, as we are about to see. But anyways, the narrator notes that therefore many powerful pirates can be seen inside the bar drinking and talking without any fighting. We then get another thing that's very interesting to me. Shocky noticed that Rox was very happy and fulfilled as she jokingly asked him if he was not in love with her anymore. Big Mom even laughs, saying he probably met another woman. Rox angrily tells them that it was supposed to be a top secret. So to me, this is interesting based on how everyone reacted to Shocky last chapter, even Whitebeard, who clearly has Miss Buckin on call. It has me wondering, is Shocky's allure waning already? Or if not, what is this legendary woman that could make her unimportant in the legend Rox's eyes? Whitebeard doesn't understand what's happening, and Stussy says to him, "You can't tell?" Then she thinks to herself that Rox's happy face was not just for a woman, he probably got a kid too. And perhaps that's the big thing that made him less preoccupied with Shocky, and we all know that that kid is probably Blackbeard. And can we just take a moment to appreciate how Miss Buckin was actually way more likable at this age than in the present, at least for me? Definitely not hard to imagine Whitebeard being Weevil's dad, just saying when you take that into account. Suddenly, Roger pirates come into Shocky's bar to see her, but not the one Shocky wants to see the most, ironically. This is the funny part to me though. Although there's no fighting in the bar, we're told Roger defeated all the pirates in the large line outside of the bar to enter first. So this bar is definitely a good place to find the strongest pirates if that's a way to get in faster. Random pirates in the bar can't believe that the Roger pirates are here and are even taking pictures of them. So even in Rox's era, the Roger pirates were very famous. Rox though confronts Roger. This confrontation is on the largest scale imaginable when you think about how big these figures are, both the faces of their respective eras here. Rox says, "Roger, how many times I gotta tell you that this is my island?" Then Roger responds, "And this is Shocky's bar. No fighting among customers, right? Stop yapping, you porcupine." That's pretty actually funny when you think about it. Porcupine. He does kind of look like that, especially in the silhouettes too. And consider that even during the time that Rox ruled the era, Roger had no problem talking to him with that Pirate King energy on Rox's own island. You gotta respect that. And now here we go. Shocky asks the Roger pirates if Rayleigh was there, but they say bro stayed on the ship avoiding her. Rayleigh really played hard to get, and as we know, it paid off. Hearing that, we see the lovesickness in full effect. She turns sad and faints. It's funny, she wants the one guy she seemingly can't have, for now at least. Everyone chasing after her, but Rayleigh making her chase after him. Question is, who is going to be chasing after Zoro like this, the Straw Hat equivalent of Rayleigh? We then cut to the underworld in Elbaf. We see that Harald and Rox were fighting each other during two epic double pages. Loki and Hiruden were watching the colossal battle, but even they couldn't withstand the impact of Harald and Rox's attacks. Rox is very angry with Harald. A lot of stuff happening there. So we finally see that Harald was manipulated by the world government into fighting Rox successfully. Also, even Loki, kid or not, couldn't withstand the impact of the clashes. Pretty epic stuff and definitely builds up Harald and by extension Loki's future potential. Despite the size difference, anyone clashing on equal footing with Rox is very impressive. Obviously, we also see that Rox is angry with Harald, which I get because he traded their friendship to pretty much become a government lapdog. And I personally definitely respect what we've seen so far from Rox more than what we've seen so far from Harald, but let me know if you disagree in the comments. Rox screams, "Harald, how could you of all people be manipulated by the world government?" Harald responds, "Of course, I had my hesitation. Like, is this something I want to accomplish even if it means killing a friend? And to me, it makes it even worse that he does truly view Rox as a friend and he makes it clear here. Keep in mind, Rox was always very clear that Harald was his good friend. Harald didn't use the same words when speaking about Rox though. So one might have thought that from his perspective, he didn't feel that close to Rox the way Rox felt towards him. But this makes it clear he did and he knows he's his friend, and yet we still get this betrayal. Rox says, "Don't give me that bull. At the end, you are still doing their bidding." Very true. If you ask me, Team Rox all the way right here. He adds, "You are just a fool. You're being used." Although they both attacked each other with powerful attacks, actually neither of them wanted to truly kill the other. So the fight ended in a draw. So I guess we can't be sure how the fight would have ended if they went all out, but at least Harald had something holding him back. He's not a complete monster and he can't just completely betray a friend like that. I'd like to think that Rox would have wrecked him if he wasn't his friend, but Harald is clearly a beast in his own right, so I don't want to jump to conclusions here. So in this way, Harald didn't get what he wanted with the world government, and yet he still tainted his character with betrayal and ruined the friendship with someone who really valued it. I mean, you guys saw how defensive Rox got if anyone said anything less than positive about Harald, like Kaido for instance. Rox says, "Then this marks the end of our friendship. I won't invite you ever again." So it also marks the end of Rox trying to get Harald to join the Rox Pirates, which has been going on forever. And very sad in my opinion. I'm sorry that Harald turned out the way he did. Even if you make the argument he had good intentions, which clearly from his perspective he did, I still don't like what he chose to do. Harald says, "I'm a king. I would never risk the lives of my precious subjects by joining a villain destined for failure like you." Obviously, though, we do have kings that would join forces with a quote-unquote villain in the eyes of the world government, like Luffy, for example. So it's not as clear-cut as Harald is suggesting. The destined for failure bit is interesting, though. If he knows rocks will fail, then it's easier to understand why he doesn't want to tie his land's fate to him. But still, bro, at least don't be the one to kill your friend. The narrator says the bizarre friendship between the two ended without a victor, and they won't meet again until the day of that incident, which I assume is the God Valley incident, but let me know if you got a different idea. And who knows, maybe Harald will still play an important role in Rox's eventual defeat, since they will meet again in that incident. From then on, Loki waited for Rox to return on the Elbaf coast, while he read the news about Rox. Ida told him a lot of times that Rox won't come, and then we see Loki has begun to open up to Ida. Very cute, I love to see that. Last page of the chapter takes place 39 years ago in God Valley, West Blue. We see a red-haired woman. We only see her from behind though, walking with a baby stroller with twin babies in it. The villagers say how cute they are, and they notice too that the babies inherited the woman's red hair. So of course, if you haven't guessed it yet, I mean, it's pretty obvious this is Shanks along with Shamrock and their mother. As if this chapter needed another big name to enter its pages, but Oda is over-delivering lately with these flashback chapters, and I absolutely love it. The villagers say that they will pray in order for the babies to grow up as smart as their mother. A very interesting trait to be pointed out about Mother Shanks, her intelligence. And they say that they will help the woman to take care of the baby since the father is absent and the woman is very grateful. We know Garling was already at God Valley, so everything would seem to match up there for him being the father. One of the villagers asks the woman about the names of the babies. The chapter ends with a panel of the twin babies while their mother says their names. She says they are Shanks and Shamrock. Interesting that she said Shanks first. So there we have it, another epic flashback chapter, and let's enjoy them while they last, because eventually we will get back to the present, and I'm really enjoying the flashbacks, honestly. Very psyched to say we won't have a break next week, so make sure you like and subscribe if you don't want to miss that review when it drops. If you enjoyed this one, you won't want to miss this video that YouTube says you'll like, link on screen right now, and I'll see ya in the next one.